Rolling over is a trick that I had worked on with Tristan a little bit, I suppose 6 months ago or so, before stopping it for various reasons. When I saw that come up in the list of tricks people were interested in learning, I thought, well, I'll pull that out and give it a try and see where he's at. So here's the beginning stages. I am teaching it using a lure. It just seemed to be what would likely make most sense to him. So I've got a little bit of food in my hand, and I'm asking him to start by lying down. And I'm thinking about what are the steps that he would need to go through in order to roll over. And you'll see me recap the ones where we've already gotten to as he remembers, and then move into where he's less familiar. So here we go. I'm asking him to lie down, all the way down. That's our first step. Now you'll notice from this position it'll be harder for him to roll over. The next step I want is him over on a back hip. And there we go. So you'll see that I reward him along the way for approximations of what I'm looking for. And there was another reward for starting to shift weight over onto his shoulder as well. So I'm moving his head backwards a bit to get him to rock over on the hip. And then I'm trying to bring his head up and over a little bit to get the shoulder down on the ground. So part of this is me getting familiar with where my hand and food has to move in order to get him to move in the way that I want him to. And he'll start realizing what I'm looking for and be more likely to do it. And there we go. So I'll back that one up together because that was the first all the way over the top rollover. Okay, so parts of this, oh, that one he didn't even get up. But you can see how he's over on his hip on the back end. So it makes it possible for him to keep rolling over. As I move in, he's going to put his right shoulder down, there we go, down on the ground as well. And what I'm going to do is carry that hand over the top, and his body follows through and over he goes. So that gives us our complete rollover. And I gave him a few for that. I know some people say jackpots aren't worth it, but sometimes it just makes me happy to do that. So we're going to try and get him for another one. Now, okay, there he goes. So the hip there, struggling with the shoulder. This is normal. It's not always a straight curve. Just getting the rollover point was where we left off last time. And there we go. A little bit more awkward. He's getting there. So don't be surprised if your dog makes a breakthrough and then has a bit of a, oh wait, what was I doing again? So here again, we're working on getting the hip, and I'm having trouble getting him with the hip down. So just reset him in the down. There we go. And then we go for over. Now, if he was really repeatedly having trouble with that step, then you may want to spend a bit of time on that. Like, don't be in a rush to add the rollover part. Work a bit on getting the hip over. And just backing up so you can see what he's doing, because I know I tried this with Tilly too, and I got a lot more resistance to her going over on one hip than I did with him. So we get the lie down, and you see he's trying to shift focus and trying to keep it in front of him. So I just reshift him back over. Partially that's for the camera, and over we go. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the dogs are not too sure about this rollover on the hip thing. That was the first thing that he and I had to work through beforehand. There we go. So he settled there, and over we go. A lot of it is just figuring out where your hand position is and what is the timing for asking for this. Now up he goes again, right? Like he's not going over on the hip. There we go. Over on the hip and all the way over. Alright, so here I start dropping a bit of food on the ground, which gets distracting for him too. See there? I can tell. There's no point trying to fuss over the rollover. He's up in the air. He's not going to roll over. There. On the hip. He's following my hand a little bit. In an odd position trying to sniff my sweater. There. Now that time he kind of led with the shoulder as opposed to the back end, and it worked. Pull it back here again. So he lies down. Notice he's not really over in the back, but over he goes in the roll. That works. I just find that, especially in the beginning, if you push on the rolling over part a lot, some of them are just more apt to do what he did there, which is just hop over instead of actually remaining on the ground and trying to do the rollover. There we go. So we're lying down. We're going over on a hip and we're rolling over. So the actual rolling over itself part, you'll notice, is starting to become smoother and easier for him. But I'm still working on making sure he understands what I'm looking for by making sure, whoa, he's over on the one hip. That was another spot I wanted to show you. So this is probably a hand motion error on my part. So I'm trying to get him over on that one hip. There's where he goes. But look where my hand and his head is. Like, no wonder he kind of got up on that one. I just likely moved it too quickly for him. So that's another variable to play with is your dog actually still engaged with your hand lure, or are they too far behind so it's quicker for them to get up than it is for them to roll over? Nope, he says, not sure. So that's all right, we just reset it, there's no big deal. This is not a life or death situation, it's just a trick. We'll just try it again. He's still figuring it out. And over we go. So again, the actual rollovers themselves are getting quicker. It's just getting him set so that he knows that's what I'm looking for. Aha, that one went better. Good. And again, I was really happy with that. Why? It's a lot smoother. It's like he's kind of clicked and he's like, oh, you always want me to go over on a hip and you always want me to do over this rollover thing. So here we go. Down he goes. You can see right there goes the hip. And then as I move the hand, the rollover itself is nice and smooth. So that's something that tells me, okay, it's starting to come together here. Oh yeah, so I think this is my other dropping the food moment. Yeah. So he's a food motivated dog and we have a little issue here. It's just him thinking like, wow, maybe there's other freebies around here somewhere. There. Okay, so now that I re-established that, yep, no, he still remembers, so I had to go over that hip and roll over. Or not that he remembers, but he can do it consistently. What I'm going to start doing is moving my hand less. So there's our down. That's all. See, that was all I had to do now to get him over on the hip was just start moving the hand back. So now our over on the hip issue, not as much of a big deal here. See, right there. He kind of did it all in one go anyway. So we got our down. Now I'm introducing the word. There we go. Now my hand got a little ahead of him, but he still did it. So now I have a fairly confident that he's actually going to do the roll once I ask for it. So starting the down position, I kind of lifting my hand up a little bit and then asking for it and then doing the hand motion. The reason being that he's been taught it down with a chin target as well. So by lifting my hand up a little bit before I start cueing this, it's going to help him differentiate. And that one there, I mean, you could tell right as soon as my hand came up, he was getting ready to roll. So here he is lying down. Hand is up there. Look at him. He's decided it's easier to roll off the front end and push with the back. This is probably true. But he's also recognizing that as soon as I lift my hand up like that and start saying the word, this is what I'm looking for. This is what's going to get him rewarded. So why wait around with the other stuff? Am I going to fuss with the fact that he's now leading with the front rather than the back? Absolutely not. There we go. There's our rollover. So this isn't totally finished yet. What I need to do now is I need to start getting the food out of my hand. I get a hand signal, and then I need to get a verbal on it properly, i.e. verbal, then hand signal, so I can drop the hand signal if I wanted to be able to ask him to roll over while I'm standing up, for example, or doing something where I don't want to have that hand signal right in front of his face. Because as he's showing me that he's figuring out that this is one entire whole motion, it tells me, okay, he kind of knows it's a whole thing. I can start to back off on some of this help, get it on a cue, and move forward with it. So let me know what you think, and let's see how our dogs do with this.